Hello, everyone. Welcome along to this episode of Championship Drill. It's been a while. The international break, we weren't able to do a show at the weekend. Midweek games are over now. So we'll talk about coming back in after the international break and a few of the teams. We're not going to go through every game that's been played since we were away, but we might highlight one or two of the good results and just talk general about what is now what is it, the first seven or so games of the season gone.
Yeah, 7 games gone
So
so far.
we're down under 40 games left to play. So
Yeah,
um yeah, Tom Rawcliffe is the chief operating officer now at Bristol City. So is a bit of news that has come in the last few hours.
yeah, like just a bit of news. Neil Warnock will retire again.
Big news there, Neil Warnock. Yeah, he's done it before and he's come back. You were saying that they're already lining up a replacement.
Yeah, Darren Moore's one of the favourites, but like as you know, this changes every day. So
Yeah,
it could be Darren Moore today, it could be and someone else tomorrow. Um,
yeah.
but you know what? He probably deserves another job after what went down.
He
Uh,
does, and absolutely he does. He deserves another job.
yeah,
And Warnock leaves Huddersfield. I think he can be pretty proud of what he's done with them. Kept them up last season.
yeah,
They're 5 points clear of the drop at the moment.
yeah. They're doing way
You know,
better than what anyone thought they would.
absolutely. So, I think he can be very proud of what he's done since he's come back there, which you wouldn't, it wouldn't surprise you because he is such a
He's
talented manager that's been
loved as
there so
well by
long.
he's loved by everyone as well.
Yeah, he's just. I mean, YouTube compilations of some of his
Yeah.
like post match press conferences are great and the things he says. So yeah. So I suppose since we've come back, anything that's been kind of surprising to you? We talk about the international break being good for some teams, bad for others. And
Mm.
Preston were one of the teams that were kind of flying it before the international break. And you wonder what'll happen when they come back. But 2 wins out of two since they've come back, and they're top of the table with
Yeah,
6 wins and a draw from their opening 7 matches.
yeah, and the thing is, like, I'll have 5 wins in a row. Um,
Yeah,
who would
so
have thought
five
that?
wins.
Who would have thought that?
Yeah, I mean, the thing with Preston is you'd always say at this stage, oh, can the team last? Can they keep it going?
Yeah,
Till the end of the season. And Preston's recent history would suggest no, they can't,
yeah,
because they always seem to run into a sticky spell, and they always seem to be so up and down with their form. But
yeah,
maybe they have something going from this season they haven't last year because they've always been within 6, 7 points of the playoffs.
yeah,
They've never been really 30 points outside the playoffs or anything like that.
yeah. Yeah, we've said it for years. There, it was coming.
Yeah,
Um,
I mean, they've really been building towards it, and they're starting to score goals, which is something they haven't been doing in the last few seasons.
and they're not letting in that many. They're doing,
No,
they're doing exactly what Norwich has done. What you said. You said that last a few.
yeah, absolutely. Like anyone who follows the championship for a number of times will know Norwich when they yo-yo up and down the divisions have done so. Okay, they might get the odd, 4-0 win or 5-0 win, but if you were to look through most of Norwich's results in the years they get promoted, there's an awful lot of 1-0s, an awful lot of 2-1s. And Preston, like you said, are kind of doing the same at the start of the season. They're not blowing teams away, but they're getting the wins.
They're getting the job done, and at the end of the day,
Yeah,
um, uh,
that's what matters.
going through it there, the team might be worried for Southampton about it bad few
Three
days.
defeats on the bounce now
Yeah.
with
It's
high flying Ipswich. I mean, who would have thought Ipswich would have started the season with
yeah,
6 wins from 7 games
yeah, they're another one that's just I don't
or
know.
whatever it is,
There's no
18
pressure
points.
on them.
Anyway,
There's no pressure on
yeah,
them.
yeah.
I
It's
did fancy them to do well, but I didn't fancy them to do this well. Um,
yeah, and I mean a win away to Southampton. I know Southampton, like I said, they've come back from the international break. They'd lost the game going into it, and they've lost both of them since they came back. So
and they got hammered on Friday night as well.
yeah, and and you got to worry for them because you start to slip, like we said. It's not doom and gloom. They're 2 points off the playoffs.
Yeah.
But Southampton are going to look to go back up automatically. And they're now already, what is it, 8 points off Leicester, 8 points off Ipswich, 9 points off Preston.
Yeah. They're down in 13th place.
Yeah. I mean, it's a lot of points to make up when you think about the automatic places.
Yeah. But because of the 2 games a week, this league changes within an instant.
It does. It does, yeah. Changes very quickly.
Next week now is the EFL Cup, so there'll be a little bit of a break.
A small bit of a break, yeah. The flip side of Southampton, who've lost 3 in a row, is Sunderland, who've now won 3 in a row. Yeah. And a very good win today with Blackburn, who are another team that are struggling to get a bit of form together.
Blackburn are 1-3, I think they win. Is that their kind
of? Yeah, it's very weird. They're doing basically what Preston have been doing for the last 3 or 4 seasons.
Yeah. They win one.
It's like one. It's like it's. I think it's something like is it 3 wins and a draw or something like that?
Yeah.
And 3 defeats or something like that.
They're not
3 wins, 1 draw, 3 defeats or something. It's
not scoring many goals either.
No, it's very much as Preston fans will attest to this. Pretty much how Preston have played the last few seasons.
Yeah.
Which isn't good. Big draw tonight, Watford, West Brom. Both teams probably needed a win to kickstart their season. Weird. Surely Ishmael's going to be sacked.
I don't know. I think he's a little bit. They're now
7 games in, 9 points.
Yeah,
there's been Watford managers sacked the last few seasons for a lot less than that.
Yeah, they've had 1 win in 5.
He is in trouble. Like, he shouldn't be in trouble, but it's Watford.
Yeah. I think realistic goals Watford should be the playoff, but I just can't see. I don't know.
Yeah.
Just don't click. Like Joe Pedro's a huge loss.
Massive. And it's one of these Watford are hitting in. What is it? Their 3rd season down now.
Yeah, and it's the thing as well with Watford is they got like 60 million because Ishmael Sarr.
Yeah.
Left as well.
Yeah.
I know they're big losses, but they should have replaced them. They really didn't replace them properly.
Yeah.
But yeah, this is, as you said, this is their good few seasons now down. They've been down in this league.
It's a tricky one.
A good few years.
Yeah, will the manager be sacked? Do you think he'll get another couple of games?
I don't know.
It's Watford, so you really don't know, do you?
No, you don't.
Anyone else should say. But disappointing too for West Brom, I suppose.
My dad said this is the worst he's seen them in about 40 years.
I'm not saying something.
2 wins from 7, which is pretty bad.
It is pretty awful for a team that kind of had a good run at the end of last season, so you were kind of expecting something good this season from them, and it hasn't happened yet. What about, if I was to pick out another team, like Middlesbrough, really much in the position they were when Carrick took over last season?
Yeah, pretty much. And yeah, he took over early October. I think they had 1 win. But they have no wins this time.
Yeah, no wins this time. He said at the weekend, they drew obviously with the team just above them, Sheffield Wednesday, this week, rather midweeks. But he said he saw something in them that's encouraging. Is there any hope that they'll go on a run now or not? They've been so bad.
I don't know, like it's just they just don't look like scoring. That's the problem.
It is strange. I suppose when you take Akpom out of the team, who scored so many goals from last season, and your man who was on loan from Aston Villa, what's his name? Archer.
Yeah. Young fella.
That was also there. Archer that was there as well with him.
Yeah.
So you're taking the 2 of them out of the side. Yeah. It is hard to replace that.
Yeah. Oh, impossible. And especially at this level, it's very difficult to get.
Yeah.
To get anyone.
You look at absolutely. Can you see him turning it around? Because it would be mad to get rid of Carrick, you would think, but they can't leave it go on forever either.
The problem is if it goes into November and you're still with them saying they have 2. If they have 2 wins by Christmas, I don't know. I just can't see it. But the problem
it's a
is that
harsh business.
sacking him doesn't mean you should bring in like a Mick McCarthy, or you know what I mean. That's what usually happens.
Yeah, usually Mick gets a job before Christmas, so
Yeah,
it'll be a case of where does he go?
could be Middlesbrough.
That's it. Rotherham are starting to hit a bit of worrying form as well.
Yeah,
And we know Rotherham like to go up and down between League One and the Championship, so be a little worried about them as well.
they're shipping a lot of goals.
Swansea have had it.
They're shipping a lot of goals. Rather, that's what I'd be worried about.
Absolutely, they really are. I mean, if you were to pick the two Welsh sides at the start of the season, you would reckon you'd nearly think where they are in the league would be the other way around. Cardiff would be down near the bottom, and Swansea would be up in mid-table.
I remember at the start we were saying that they signed way too many free transfers.
Yeah, I think 3 points from 7 games.
I think they signed like 12 players on free transfers or something really big for that.
But it's not been very good for them for Swansea. Cardiff have had probably a better start to the season than I was expecting.
Yeah.
10 points from 7 games, because I really thought Cardiff would struggle, even though I know they signed a couple of decent players.
Yeah. You know what? Just another great win from 3-1. Was it 3-1? Was it 3-1 the end?
Yeah.
Yeah, another great win. Slowly doing their business.
Absolutely. Big win as well for Millwall, I think, because they kind of lost their way the last couple of weeks before the break and that. So it was important for them, I think, to get a win, and a convincing enough win against Rotherham tonight.
Yeah.
Also has them on one of those teams that are on 10 points. Important for them. Good win for Leicester as well. A big game tonight.
McAteer is becoming really useful in the Championship.
Really has. Really has. And it
them.
happens sometimes that way, doesn't it?
Yeah.
That they drop down a division, suddenly they're unbelievable.
Getting a chance. It's all it is. It's just giving them a chance. Is all it is.
That's it. And like I said, Leicester are having a decent start to the season. They'll be happy with their start. Leeds, another draw for Leeds.
Yeah, we were only on about them, all right, just that they are going to click, but I don't know.
Yeah.
It's hard to know when
they're going to
letting any in. They're not scoring many, but they're not letting any in. I don't know. I think it's hard to judge Leeds because they've lost so many of their good players.
It is. It is tough to judge them. And I mean, they're one of these teams on 10 points as well. I mean, they're 3 points from 4th place Sunderland. It's not like they're completely out of it. But like we said, you want those automatic places. The playoffs really is a lottery.
Yeah.
And to be 8 points off automatic promotion with 7 games gone it's not good. It's not where Leeds want to be. It's not that they can't go on a run, like you said, but I mean, Norwich are capable of going on a run. Sunderland, we saw, could go on a run. Leicester could, keep doing what they're doing. Southampton, who haven't, like I said, have lost 3 in a row, were flying it before then. So they certainly could turn it around again. It's not going to be easy for these teams to go up automatically. And we've seen that a lot of times. I think Brentford probably being one of the big examples. Before Brentford eventually got into the Premier League, there were 2 or 3 seasons where they probably should have got in, but didn't.
Yeah, exactly. They pretty much were very unlucky for 2 or 3 years. One of the years, all right, they were clear away, and they still lost.
Yeah. And it's lost out now. Yeah, I mean that they should have went up in the playoffs.
Yeah.
I suppose the big thing that turned Brentford around, and maybe it'll end up turning one of these teams around, is just the transfer. But that was the summer transfer when Ivan Toney came in. They'd sold Ollie Watkins and they brought in Ivan Toney.
And who did they buy them off? Peterborough. Yeah, Peterborough.
Yeah. I mean, he'd scored a load of goals in League One the season before. 10 million, I think they paid for Ivan Toney.
Yeah.
And probably sell him for about 80 or 90 in January.
I know.
It's kind of crazy to think about. And I think it sold Ollie Watkins for nearly 30.
Yeah, but even there now, right? Leeds are playing Huddersfield. Huddersfield are another team that are thereabouts, where I didn't think they'd be as high as they are either.
No, I mean Huddersfield have
Or not Hull City, Hull City. That's what I meant.
Hull City,
Yeah,
yeah. Hull up,
yeah.
Hull are sixth place, yeah. I mean,
Yeah.
Huddersfield, like we talked about earlier, also have done
Hull.
decent. But Hull, though, we talked about at the start of the season as a team who've signed very well.
Yeah. They really, really have. And
I mean,
was there news recently about a Turkish fella investing in them?
it could be, yeah. I didn't read that. I'd have to, like you look at the players they have, Hull, and even who they had out today, like Delap up front.
Yeah.
Tufan coming on off the bench, Traore coming on off the bench. I mean, it's a decent team. Aaron Connolly, who's been decent at the start of the season.
Like they lost one
it's
game.
A good sign.
Like
yeah, it's a good sign. Seri playing in midfield, who I think was 5-6 seasons ago there was talk of him being sold for 50, 60 million, that kind of money.
Yeah.
They've signed very well, I think, and they can be proud of what they've done. But like you said, even though they signed well, I don't think either of us would have thought they'd be sixth place this season.
Yeah.
And they deserve it. Like you said, they've only lost the one game. So.
But even when he was with Derby, was senior, he did well with them.
Yeah.
I think he when Rooney left, he kind of came in and kind of did a good job there, and then he left. And
yeah, and I think like that was always a mess because you had Lampard there, obviously, who totally destroyed their club's finances.
Yeah.
Then Philip Cocu came in and he tried his best to get them back, but ended up spending even more money to make them even worse in terms of finances. We all know then the points deduction. And I thought Wayne Rooney did a hell of a job with Derby that season.
Yeah.
And with about 7 or 8 games to go, they were still in with a chance of staying up somehow because they'd been deducted, was it 15 points or something ridiculous?
They were deducted 6 and then they were deducted another 12, I think.
Yeah, I mean, 18 points, yeah. It was insane amount of points. I think they would have, if they weren't deducted points, been up to around like 8th or 9th in the table or something.
Yeah.
And they ended up being relegated.
And then they start the season on like -6 or -12, and then they got more.
Yeah.
And then they got more again.
That was it, yeah. And it's, it's just the way it was. But yeah, like you said, he came in after Rooney and did a very good job in steadying that ship a little bit. And yeah. Done well. Hull going well, like you said.
Is there any
Coventry?
Coventry, yeah, they've had a bad.
I mean, Gyökeres obviously massive loss in terms of the goals they were getting last season, and obviously Hammer and people like that they've lost as well.
Yeah, they're big losses. It's really losses.
I mean, I don't think Coventry are in trouble. I don't think Coventry are going to get relegated this season, but
they're not.
They'll be disappointed. They've
Yeah.
pushed for the playoffs the last couple of years. They'll be disappointed if they don't do that again this season.
Yeah. Gordon, obviously, he scored 2.
Yeah.
He is quality, but just I think there's too big a gap now. They've lost too many.
They have lost too many very, very good players and very experienced players that they used to have as well, I think. Plymouth, they'll be happy enough, even though same amount of points as Coventry. They'll be happy enough because they're a team that you would think of all the teams that came up would struggle a bit. I suppose Sheffield Wednesday, because of the manager turmoil, we're always going to find it difficult. But Plymouth are a team that, they'll come up and they'll play their way. And sometimes you worry about that when you come up into a division that it's not going to work for you because you're more open when you play like that. So.
They do play well. I like watching Plymouth. They were good against Southampton a few weeks back.
Yeah,
they're good.
They're decent.
Yeah. Anything else?
Any other teams you want to have a rant about? We've covered most of them. I mean, QPR have been. They were down, then up. Now they're down again.
But the only kind of team we didn't go into was Stoke.
Yeah, and they've been very disappointing, I think, this season.
Yeah.
It's a very weird table, though. Because 20th to 9th is 3 points.
Yeah. That's what I'm saying. Like with the 3 games a week, that changes.
It changes very fast because, like, you pick up 6 points in a week, and you can easily move from 18th up to like 7th. And likewise, you could be 4th and you lose both games, and suddenly you're 16th. It is a mad table, but we've only got 39 games left to go. So really, I wouldn't be too worried if I was teams. And Bristol City are another team we didn't talk about. They've got a decent start to a season going.
Yeah, no, I think they're doing well again. We've always talked about their manager. His 4-1 window again. Last night? 4-1. Yeah.
I mean, they're doing all right. I mean, they're doing better than you would think so.
Yeah.
They're
fifth. Like that's pretty.
Yeah. I mean, they were one of the teams last season that ended up with kind of not play for with about 10 games to go, and started to play a couple of the youngsters who are now playing this season as well, and sometimes that does help. And they've done well. Like you said, a big win last night. And
I just hope that the win it doesn't demoralize Plymouth now from here.
Because they can be happy with what they've done early doors anyway. I mean, they are still one of the favourites probably to go down. I don't expect Middlesbrough are going to stay in the bottom 3 for the season.
No, I wouldn't think so either.
They're too good a team for that. Rotherham, I could see slipping in there. Swansea, who knows? Sheffield Wednesday, I think you said it before the opening day even. They're in for a long season, Sheffield Wednesday.
They're not good enough at all in every department.
They're really not good enough, no. And I think losing the manager and the way they lost the manager, I don't like. I think it's upset a lot of the players. I really do, because he was very popular with the players. And then I think it's not helping that he's coming out and saying one thing, and then the chairman's coming out and saying something completely different, and the two of them are kind of fighting through social media over different things, and that can't help the players either when they're reading stuff like that.
It was awful how he the whole thing was awful after that whole comeback.
Yeah, and it was, and there was such a high that they were on after that comeback as well, and all looking forward. And I'm sure he was looking forward himself, but who knows? Wouldn't it be ironic if if he did go to Huddersfield, and that was going to be
and they stayed up above him.
Who he ends up with? Yeah. I mean, I'm going to look ahead into the season.
Yeah.
Into the season. Yeah, they don't play them for a while, but it will be kind of crazy if Huddersfield ended up relegating Sheffield Wednesday. So. I don't think they play them at home until February, but and it will be very funny though if Darren Moore was in charge of Huddersfield Town, they ended up being responsible for Sheffield Wednesday getting relegated. These are the kind of things that seem to happen sometimes in football, though. So you never know.
Yeah, it's true.
You never know. Is there any other teams you want to talk about, or anything you want to talk about that happened since international break?
No, not really. I think we covered pretty much everything for now.
A lot there. Birmingham obviously lost to Watford. Birmingham were one of the few unbeaten teams going into last weekend. So decent start though for Birmingham as well, I suppose. Yeah. Despite that, lost to Watford. Yeah.
Actually, speaking of Birmingham, they're the Friday night game.
We might as well have a quick look ahead, will we, to the fixtures that are coming up, and then we'll leave it there maybe for tonight and come back into it. So if we look at that, like I said, Birmingham QPR Friday night. We've got Ipswich, Blackburn, Leeds, Watford. That could be the old El Saki or there, I'd say, Leeds and Watford. One of them get hammered in that game, I'd say the manager could be gone. Leicester, Bristol City, Middlesbrough, Southampton. That's a big game for both teams. Southampton have to stop this slide, and Middlesbrough need a win.
Yeah, I think you're right. And if Middlesbrough don't win, he could be real trouble.
Yeah, Plymouth, Norwich City. Norwich need to bounce back. Plymouth need to bounce back. Rotherham against Preston. See, this is the kind of game last season Preston are flying it.
They would have drawn it
going well, and they play a team near the bottom. Exactly, and they end up drawing 0-0.
Yeah.
So these are the kind of games that are going to tell me whether or not Preston can stay with it this season.
Yeah.
Not so much the games against Leicester City, against those teams in and around them. It's these kind of games where Preston dropped silly points last season.
Yeah.
So if Preston can beat Rotherham at the weekend, I think they've got a really good chance of making a real push certainly for staying in the playoffs for the season, that they're not going to do a Reading on it and just plummet down the table. Or was it QPR last season?
Yeah. They did win.
That we're like up to the World
Oh,
Cup, we're just flying, and you're like, oh, QPR are going to be back in the Premier League, and then
It's
they nearly end up in League One.
Yeah.
Swansea, Sheffield Wednesday again. Two teams, two of the bottom three playing each other, and West Brom home to Millwall. And like your dad says, again, regular listeners will know that Phil's dad is a West Brom fan. So for him to say it's the worst team he's seen in 30 years, it's some going, because they've had some bad ones in those 30 years.
Yeah, they're just like, I just can't believe one winning 7 or something like that. It's
pretty bad, and you probably don't want to be playing Millwall. I suppose the good part of it is you're at home to Millwall.
But again, they don't have the players. That's another side of it too.
That's it. Then we do have Sunday and Monday football as well. We've got Stoke against Hull on Sunday and Sunderland against Cardiff City. Big game for Stoke at home to Hull. Hull, like you said, flying at. Stoke can't afford to keep losing matches.
It's the 1 hour we win, I'd say.
Sunderland, Cardiff, two teams up in and around the playoffs at the minute. And Coventry against Huddersfield Town is the Monday night football. So there we go. Will we leave it at that, Phil, and come back after the weekend's action, after Monday night's game, maybe?
Yeah.
Coventry play Huddersfield.
Yeah, that sounds good to me.
All right, we will leave it there, everyone, and we will be back with you again next Monday night after the weekend fixtures, when no doubt we'll have new leaders of the Championship, Ipswich, back up there to the top of the.
True.
All right. Thanks, everyone, for listening, and we will be back with you soon.